Hello, this is Holy Mountaineering, as you might be able to tell from earlier videos, hopefully. This tarot reading is for ziggins.tumblr.com, or Ziggins, whatever. Thank you for donating, that was awesome, you just bought me dinner. Alright, so I've been shuffling these cards for a while, and again, folks, you can tell me how many times you want me to cut, if that's important to you. If not, I will just cut for you. And you seem like the kind of person that would cut at least that many times. So, and again, I know that Ziggins, that you, Zach, you've had a reading from me before, so you know how it goes. But for people that don't know how I do readings, basically I do a 10-card spread in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, in the shape of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. I explain each card and where it's at as I go down, and then when all of the cards are turned over, I sort of put it together as a more complete thing, or just put it together in a different way. So, let's go ahead and start. Up here at Keter, oh yeah, so for those of you who aren't familiar with the way that I do this, we're going to think about this as a map. It's more like a quantum map where we're everywhere all at once, but for the sake of explaining things and linear brains, yeah, this is a map. So, this is a map of your little road trip. So here in Keter, your hometown, your starting point, your port of origin, where you're from, and where you're eventually going to be moving out of. But where you're from right now, this is Atu 16, the tower. Peh, Mars, sudden rapid change from outside forces. This is something that has been built up in your life that seems very important. Again, these are trump cards, so these are the higher tier, hierarchical aspects of things. So this is something that has been built up that regardless of what it's serving or what it's doing, it is being knocked down from a rapid outside force, and this is something that falls apart. One way that I like to explain this is this sort of tower, the destruction of this important structure, could seem bad if you are like the engineer who designed that tower and it fell apart. But it could be good if you are the developer who now can build on that land, maybe build a better thing. So this is just starting from a point of some important things sort of getting leveled. Over here in Hakma, this is like the freeway that you're driving away from your hometown on. You're not anywhere yet, but you're moving. Here is the Ten of Wands oppression. So wands are action, motion, behavior, what you're actually doing. And the tens are the ceiling. It's as high as the number of cards go. So the Ten of Wands oppression is just like that. That's having a lot of stuff on your plate. It's hard to carry the plate. Your plate is so full of things. You're busy, you're working, you're doing all of this stuff, and it's feeling like back-breaking labor at this point. It's feeling like it's too much. So that's what's driving you out of that. But the good news always about the tens is this is as hard as it gets. Like, it does not progress into worse from here. This is just, this is the point where you are like, I've had enough. I am up to here with it. So, speaking of such things, over here in Bana, oh yeah, and I guess I could be like showing you the cards. So here's the tower. It's upside down. Here's the tower. You need new cards. This one's got a thing in it. Here is the Ten of Wands oppression. A lot of fiery wand activity. And here in Bana, which is ruled by Saturn, structure, and order, all that business, is this guy, the moon. Yeah, Pisces. So 218, the moon. This is not ruled by the moon, you might notice. That little planet is ruling the priestess, or the high priestess, with her buddy Gimel. This is the actual action of the moon, that Pisces thing. The glyph of Pisces is two fish tied together trying to swim apart. It's the push and pull, it's the ebb and flow of things, like the moon causes. The moon pulls tides. I found out fairly recently that the moon also controls desert tides. So sands have tides too. This is the which is amazing for the moon anyway. But anyway, like this is the ebb and flow, the push and pull. This is day and night. Sort of the takeaway from this is the finding light in the darkness. You know, trying to make some meaning out of what's going on and waiting for the pull to return. If you don't like where you are, wait a while. It will change. Speaking of linear time. So, moving down. Okay. So, here in Hesed is ruled by Jupiter. This is sort of your influence on things. Jupiter is the benevolent, influential god. So, the 9 of discs gain. This is descending, but I'll explain all that stuff a little bit later. So, the 9 of discs gain. Like I said, the 10 is the ceiling. 9s are still building. So, astrologically, this card is Venus in Virgo. Venus being, you know, love, beauty, growth, you know, this kind of fertility that's like waiting to be energized. And Virgo is fertile soil, possibility, thing, you know, the earth sign that is like, you know, the deep dark soil. So this is basically like, you know, this has to do with like building on what you know and what you have. And also like, yeah, putting your, turn the cranes down a little bit. Yeah, this is I wouldn't say putting all your eggs in one basket, but this is materially, financially. This is sort of, you know, like when you know what you're doing, build off of that. Make more models based on the things that work. This is 3 3s. So, another 9 across the board here in Gavora. Gavora is ruled by Mars. This is war, motion forward, outward. You know, war is about like going from your place to someone else's place and taking their things. So, yeah, the 9 of Cups. Happiness! So, the 9 of Cups, I call this card mutually beneficial relationships. Each little cup has its own source, but as they are lined up, they are pouring into each other also. This is sort of the natural bounty of emotion in human relationships. This is giving and taking. This isn't like one-sided things. I see a lot of this, like, you know, is about cultivating these kind of relationships where you don't feel like you're being drained or you don't feel like you're being like swollen up with other people's water. And also doing that for yourself emotionally, like, you know, it's both inner and outer. Like, you know, our emotions inside are completely, you know, relevant to the way that we deal with the people in our lives. So, moving down. So, in Netzik, which is ruled by Venus, love, beauty, growth. This is sort of your personal takeaway from all this traveling and business that you've been doing. So, the 5 of Swords, mental communication defeat. All 5s, as I always constantly say in the same exact way, if you stand up and stick your arms and legs out, you make a 5-pointed star. 5s are the human microcosmic small world number, and with any of the tarot cards that are 5, you know, outside of the charms, the 5s are restrictive. They're boundary driven by humans. So the idea here is this is a stoppage or a defeat in communicating, being able to step out of boundaries. This also is like limitations like on your mind of how well people can connect or communicate with you. So to this I say, you know, like you know you have to learn your own, or you have to know you 93'd me, so I know that you're on it. Like, this is like, you know, this is knowing your mental and communication limitations and boundaries, and recognizing that other people have equally valid communication and intellectual boundaries. It's a lesson that we can all learn constantly. So, over here in Hode, which is ruled by Mercury, language, communication, intelligence. Mercury is the go-between god. He spent a lot of his time probably trying to duck various things being thrown at him for speaking for Zeus. Tact is ideal here, both within your own brain and again how you communicate that. So, here we have Atu 20, the Heon. So the Eon is fire, cardinal fire. Shin is the Hebrew letter. So the Eon, this is the idea that each period in our lives, each period in human history, has a basic idea behind it, a basic understanding, a basic modus operandi, like the way that we do things, the way that we understand things. This is about breaking through to that new Eon of a different sort of understanding. There is a new law. This is coming to a new place of action because you have a different understanding. Horpakrat in the foreground, giving the international symbol of shut the fuck up, is about when you are going through that process. I mean, Crowley did not even trust the Book of the Law for like 7 or 12 years. I think it was 12 years, pretty sure. So this is be silent in your new understanding, like don't try too hard to, like communicate the specifics, I guess, because this isn't Hode, this is about communicating, but it's, saying without saying, and mostly intellectually, Mercury is also the magician, Hermes is the magician god. So this is for yourself sort of starting to work with and tool with those ideas and what that means to you and how you act with this new knowledge, with this new understanding. So, here in Yesod, which is ruled by Luna, the moon, this is receptivity, reflection. This is all of that moony business. Like I was saying about Pisces, this is also just the tides and all of that business. So, here, this is sort of how Jupiter is your influence on things. Here in Yesod, this is sort of like what you're taking in. Here we have the Ace of Discs, the root power of Earth. I'm going to turn the cranes back up a little bit. So the Ace of Discs is the root power of Earth. Hilarious! Just notice this. So in Ketzer, and I'll come back to this too, maybe I should even talk about this right now, but it's interesting, so I will. The Tower and the Ace of Discs. This sort of like screams like this thing being blasted, like I said, to its foundations. Here's the foundation. The Ace of Discs is the material, just, foundation, the bedrock that you build all of your other material, like world, like real world, everyday life interactions on top of. And this is sort of getting back to base with a lot of things, and getting back to like some fundamentals of how things are put together. This is checking out the foundation to, see maybe why that tower went down. So, in Malkuth, Earth, normal world, waking up, taking a shit, going to work world, we have a different ace, the Ace of Cups, which is descending. So this is the Ace of Cups flooding out. This is a thing that is either in the process of going down or is about to go down. So, the Ace of Cups is, like I said about the Ace of Discs, this is the root power of water. This is the yearly flood that comes and wipes everything out. But if you have your canals dug and you have all your irrigation in place and everything's bolted down, then it all stays and it's all good. It just washes away the loose shit. So, gonna break this down. There's 3 pillars in the Tree of Life. There's the pillar of mercy. Oh, by the way, this is facing me, not you. There's the pillar of mercy, which is the feeling and dealing with people, relationships, part of life. There is the pillar of severity, which is the doing, the thinking, understanding. There's the middle pillar, which is balancing those two sides without losing your shit. So, in the pillar of mercy, okay, I guess like sort of like what I see. I'm not gonna like Hail Mary this too hard, but like I think what's going on here is you are working really hard to make things happen. You are able to build on your gains. You're able to work with what you know to create, a material situation for yourself where you're increasing. You're not depreciating value. But you're like sort of at a stuck point with the people in your life and what they mean to you and how you deal with them, which is just based on like a not complete understanding, I guess, of like how you connect and your boundaries and all of that is. So, on the other side here in severity, we're sort of like in a weird, like kind of, not quite dawn, dark place, where there's a lot being pulled in both directions. Your structure and order, like the way that your filing cabinet for life is kind of like you're not sure where to move some files right now. Things are sort of in limbo. And if you're not sure what to do, wait until it's better lit. Or if you can, take that small light and make a big torch. Find something that's there, but you don't have to do everything just because it's what you're feeling in the moment, or it's what's kind of been thrust on you in the moment. And further in on that, work with the relationships and the feelings that don't leave you drained or leave you swollen. Try to make things like go both ways. And this is like in the relationships and in the emotions that involve what you're going out and doing. This is in Devora, this is in Mars. So this is, in what you're doing, in the actions that you're taking, make sure that everything is going both ways. The astrological significance of this card, which I think I forgot to mention, is Jupiter in Pisces, which is that big benevolent influence in the pushing and the pulling and the things going both ways. So you actually have two Pisces cards in a row mirroring each other across the abyss even. And also the whole action pillar here is completely driven by action, new way of doing things. So this is maybe like the dark part has to do with like the fact that this is all like new stuff. Like this is like the Eon is the idea that you can't explain what being a 25-year-old is like to a teenager. You can't convey that. There's no way to convey that. A middle-aged person couldn't convey to a 20-year-old what that's like, and on up and down the ladder, like you're in a different place. It's a different understanding of things. So yeah. And the middle pillar here, so Kabbalistic saying Ketzer is in Malkuth, and Malkuth is in Ketzer, but by another means. So we got some water to put out, this fire. Oh my god. I'm so bad. I completely skipped Tiphareth. Okay, I'm not going to re-record this video because I'm 18 minutes into it, and I just want you to know that this is exactly what I'm fucking like all the time. I keeping shit straight, I do this so much, and I'm so familiar with this, and I still blow it, on the regular. So let's stop all of this banter and go to the sun, the center, the heart of this spread, which is the Empress, Venus, Dalet. Okay, so to put this in, God, okay, I should probably record all of this again, but I'm not going to because I feel like I would be remanufacturing all of this. So, Atu 3, the Empress. This is Dalet being the door or the window that is open. I like to talk about this as like this being a door or a window that you leave open because your lover or someone that you really want there, you know they're coming. Double entendre. See, that's why I'm not re-recording this. So the Empress is the consort of the Emperor. This is the passive, waiting, fertile principle, waiting to be energized by the active principle. There is energy here, there is energy to be had, but this is being open to being influenced in new ways. This is being open to growing in ways that you're not familiar with. And all of this would have made this card make infinitely more sense. So I'll get to that when I do the complete thing here in a second. So, me being a fucking gigantic stoner aside, the middle pillar basically is about this thing that is falling down, this thing that's coming apart is not as important as it might seem. Because there is the feeling to put it all out, there is the receptivity to move on, and there is then the good foundation to work with. Like, it's the whole fucking package. So, the basic idea here, again, all around, is that, you know, things are rapidly changing, outside sources. You may not be at all responsible for this, like, big upheaval that's, like, going down. You know, and it might seem really hard, it might seem like you're in a dark place, but you already know how to build things. You already know how to constructively make something tangible out of what some people would see as some kind of disaster. You building, you know, feelings that don't leave you drained or desiring, being ready for whatever is going to make you grow and make you alive, understanding your limitations, understanding that you're coming to a new place, so it might be hard to convey that, but it's something that you're going to have to sit with and try to understand for yourself, and that there is a good foundation and a bedrock to be gotten back to then build up further from. So short of forgetting the center of gravity holding everything together, I feel like this has wholly been a positive experience. The music is Cranes, and the album is Forever, if anybody cares or got this far in the video. Yeah, again, this is for Ziggins from Tumblr. Thank you very much. Sorry about the mix-up. If you have any questions or anything, send me a message. Thanks a lot.